Another LeBron James adjacent story from Justin Tinsley, where The Shop, which is a show that went from HBO to YouTube, made an editorial decision that was the right editorial decision, but I was not expecting from the LeBron James Mav Carter group to feel responsible to make responsible editorial decisions. They had Kanye West on. Kanye West would be good for ratings, would be good for views, would be good to use all the things that Kanye West is to just bring attention to wherever it is you are. And when you leave HBO and go to YouTube with your own entity, you have incentives to bring eyes. Mav Carter and the rest of Clutch and LeBron James have distanced themselves and will not air a Kanye West episode because of anti-Semitic things that he said. It wasn't even, I don't know if it was doubling down on what he did with Tucker Carlson or if it was taped beforehand. Either way, Kanye West is not allowed that platform. LeBron James, Mav Carter will not allow Kanye West to appear there.
And from leaked footage of the Tucker Carlson interview, it seems as though Tucker was even trying to protect Kanye from more harmful and hateful statements that they made the editorial decision to cut out. Here's a statement from Spring Hill Company CEO Maverick Carter. Yesterday, we taped an episode of The Shop with Kanye West. Kanye was booked weeks ago. After talking to Kanye directly the day before we taped, I believe he was capable of a respectful discussion, and he was ready to address all of his recent comments. Unfortunately, he used The Shop to reiterate more hate speech and extremely dangerous stereotypes. And Van Lathan, who was recently a guest on South Beach Sessions, he came on and he has a statement saying, you know, that crazy episode that Kanye had at TMZ. Well, apparently he said he loved Hitler and the Nazis then, and TMZ made the decision to cut that. I'm not sure what went into that decision. Maybe a deal was brokered for more access or an apology. But Kanye keeps doubling down as people give him off-ramps to walk things back and apologize. And he's being protected to a degree. But now these stories, the rhetoric has become so dangerous, the statement so hateful, that the protections that have been put in place to protect him from himself are starting to dissipate.
It's the right decision to make. It's not the easy decision to make when you're not an entity that makes editorial decisions and don't have the responsibilities. It would be very easy for LeBron James and Mav Carter to say, if they wish to, like there would be damages that they would risk with sponsors, with Hollywood and everything else, that we got this freedom and we answer to no one, and we are not responsible for what Kanye West says. They have correctly identified it as hate speech and run it off. But there aren't a lot of folks, I would say, I dare say, that once you've allowed Kanye West into the tent to traffic in whatever it is you get from Kanye West, once you get him to sit down and do all the work, there are not a lot of folks that I know who don't have to be beholden to editorial decision-making who would say, never mind about that, we're going to cancel all of it, we don't want anyone to see this. It's the correct decision, but I would not say that these decisions are easy to make when you're these people who don't necessarily have expertise in this kind of decision-making.
Yeah, it's tricky because I don't want to explain away any of this. Very clearly, Kanye West is a disgusting, hateful person because there is a trend here.
Who seems not well.
Well, I think that's the trickiest part in terms of editorial too, is we've seen this with Kanye occasionally. Not this anti-Semitism to this degree, certainly, but he goes through episodes very clearly where it's a lot of Kanye and it's in doses, right? He has these episodes. You can tell from his social media behavior. We used to think it was promotional Kanye. No, he's very clearly having an episode right now, and people internally are having their discussions as to whether or not they should give someone that is very clearly going through an episode a platform. At the same time, he doesn't necessarily get to escape because he's going through an episode. He doesn't get to escape the consequences of hate speech and anti-Semitism. But Tucker Carlson is even having these editorial discussions.
But airing him.
He's airing him.
But what I'm saying,
off the audience.
But what I'm saying is once you get Kanye West to sit down, whatever you're trafficking in right there, once you've invited Kanye West to sit down, the idea of killing everything he said as an editorial decision, Mav Carter and LeBron James are doing something that Tucker Carlson and TMZ and others are not doing. They're airing the parts they want. They're getting what they want out of the transaction, and whether it's protecting him or just not allowing hate speech, they're editing out the other parts. This decision that LeBron James wasn't there for this taping, but this decision being made by Mav Carter and quotes from Mav Carter saying hate speech will not be tolerated, it's an admirable one and a laudable one, and I don't think a lot of people would go 100% on we've gotten Kanye to sit down, we can get whatever traffic we get from Kanye sitting down, and we're not using any of what he said because of the wrong that he said.
It makes you wonder just exactly how bad this is. I'm sure a lot of voyeurs are interested in seeing some of this footage because it was filmed. It's apparently out there. Some of the other things that were reported to come out of the Tucker Carlson interview, aside from the anti-Semitism, was he was making bizarre claims about a child that was planted inside the home of his children to influence them, and he put names and parents' names out there. He's very clearly going through a bizarre episode, and I'm not saying that to excuse any of the behavior or statements.
I do think that the decision that Spring Hill Entertainment made was actually the obvious one, because I would say, first off, to lend them some credit, they must have recognized that this is a crazy amount of hate speech and you can't platform it. But I'd say a secondary motivation was you guys are using the word editorial. That's a public relations decision, right? At least in part. They're making a public relations decision we cannot have our logo in the bottom right corner that says the shop on this clip of Kanye West, which will presumably be seen by millions of people, and we are in some ways endorsing by putting our logo in the bottom right corner what he's saying.
Forgive me.
You don't want to be that kind of viral with your logo next to someone who's saying that.
The easy decision is to condemn the anti-Semitism and the hate speech and to eliminate the anti-Semitism and the hate speech. The part that I'm saying is not the easy decision, is to kill everything else you had, the reasons that you had to sit down Kanye in the first place, which is you want the rub from Kanye sitting down. Like we don't tend to use our morals that completely. They are separating from Kanye West in anything that he says because of the thing that he said, and everyone should be condemning on the front end the anti-Semitism and giving voice to that. So forgive me if I sounded like I'm saying that it's not the obvious decision to condemn and eliminate the hate speech. I'm saying they just trashed the episode entirely.
And that's a lot of money that they've thrown away. They were quick to highlight that they scheduled this a couple of weeks ago, which was prior to the most recent anti-Semitism scandal that Kanye West finds himself in. They did a pre-interview and felt assured that this would be an avenue for Kanye to walk things back, apologize for his behavior, clarify, and potentially apologize. And Kanye went in there and doubled down, and apparently it went even worse on this, which is, I mean, it's a heartbreaking situation to see what's happening with Kanye West, because as much as he feels alone right now, presently, and some of them are grifters like Tucker Carlson that have their ulterior motives, but he still has enough support within the hip-hop community for people trying to get him out of this. And he is cutting off support systems right now. He is burning bridges. He is publicly posting interactions that he's having with Puffy, where Puffy is trying to level with him as a black man. You're hurting our community with the White Lives Matter stunt that he pulled a couple of weeks ago. And he's just putting everybody on blast right now. And it's a dangerous situation for Kanye and those around him. And there are reports out there about the Kardashians having to hire additional security. He's far too flippant when it comes to the security of his children, I feel, to the point that if you're a parent and you're Kim Kardashian, you obviously have to fear for your safety and your children's.
I hate the fact that him being a representative of the black community, that he's speaking for the black community. He's not. Absolutely not. He is not. Because this type of thing would, a generations-long allyship with Jewish people and black people, that could get cut off easily because a person of that stature is making those comments. And that's just, it's bad. It's really bad.